back to How-Tos. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to create custom objects and custom fields. Now, if you haven't had a chance to watch the very first video of this series, we do have the link in the description below where we focused on how to create your own playground as well as on the standard objects. Now, in this video, we're going to be focusing on how to create a custom object as well as a custom field. So that being said, what you're going to do is you're going to click on this button right here that says create, and we're going to simply click on custom object. Now let's take a step back. What is a custom object? A lot of companies and organizations will have various different types of processes. Most of our standard objects will cover the high level processes, but each companies will have their sub process. For example, in a software world, the sales team will use the opportunity object to sell their product. And then you might have an implementation team that actually works with the client on implementing their product. In order for the sales team to pass required information to the implementation team, you might have a custom object in between. And that object can be called, again, whatever you like. In this scenario, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building a custom object called jobs. And the scenario that we're working with is we work for a recruitment agency which works with companies to see what type of resources they need. They're going to be, and then create a job, then look at candidates that apply for that job and help the client hire those candidates. So that being said, this is the wizard that's going to walk us through on how to create custom object. We'll start simply by giving this custom object a name. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it job. The plural, of course, is jobs. This one does not start with the vowel, so I will not check that off. The object name will be what we call the API name, and that's simply going to take the label and put it here. Now, let's say if we had a multiple word label for the custom object, it will simply put up underscore between the spaces. And then we're just going to scroll down to where we enter record name, label, and format. Now we have the option to create a text field, meaning every time you create a new record, you need to enter a text, or you have the option to do an auto number, which means every time you create a new record, the system will generate auto number for you. In our case, we're going to keep it as text. We are going to allow reporting. We are going to allow activities. Activities are things like tasks, events. If you were to log a call, those are what we call activities. We are going to allow field history tracking. Now we're going to skip over the object classification for the time being. We are going to have this marked as deployed. We're going to allow searches. We are going to allow the attachment of we are going to allow the attachment of notes as well as, of course, attachments. And we're going to click on the launch new custom tab wizard. And then we're going to go ahead and simply click on save. Now this is going to take us to a page where we can create our custom tab. The custom tab we're going to create for this can be chosen from your own selection here. So I'm just going to kind of scroll around just for the purpose of training. I'm just going to simply click on this diamond icon. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on next. Now, if you notice on our previous video, we talked about apps, and what this page is asking us, which app do we want this tab to be visible on? Again, I'm just going to simply keep it as available for every single app. Then we're going to allow it to be visible on all the tabs, all the apps, and I'm just going to go ahead and click save. Once I've done that, it takes me to the page of this new object. Now, of course, we have all these tabs across the left-hand side, which we'll go through in future videos. The one that we're going to focus on today is our fields. We click on fields, and every single object already starts with 4 standard fields. Now I'm going to click on new to create a brand new field. So let's take an example of, when you're tracking jobs, what information would you want to track? You can, of course, track the job name, and you might want to track the salary. Now, as you can see, we have various different types of fields we can create. we have what's called a formula field, meaning we will input a formula and that field will give us the output based on the formula we've entered. As you can see, you can create various different types of fields. We're not going to touch on every single field individually. As you can see, there's a description already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down, and because we want to create a salary range, I'm going to create a currency field. So let's go ahead and click currency. Go to the next tab where we'll be able to give the field a name. So I'm going to call it, let's say, minimum salary. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it how many length characters do we want. Most likely our salaries are not going to be 18 characters long. Let's say we'll give it, we're going to say it's going to be 6 characters long, and we're going to allow 2 decimal places. And then we're going to simply go ahead to the next page, and this asks which profiles will be able to see these fields. And profiles are simply user permissions. So I'm going to keep it as is. Our profile is a system administrator profile, so I'm going to keep it as is, and then I'm going to go to the next page, and I'm going to say that I want this field on this job layout, and I'll show you what the layout is in a short while. And then we're going to go ahead and create a maximum salary. So again, it's going to be currency, and we're going to do the same thing. Now, I'm not going to create any more fields after this. However, I would highly recommend getting creative, create as many fields as you like, try to read the field description so you know what each of these field types do. Now, as you can see, here are the 2 fields that we've created, and they both have a C in the middle. So if you see field names with C at the end, it typically means that they're a custom field. If I click on page layouts, this allows me to arrange my fields on how I want the end users to see. So as you can see right here, I have the job name, the owner of the record, and you'll see that the information and the system information are grayed out. So I'm going to actually go ahead, make this visible. I'm going to create a brand new section, and I'm going to name this salary information. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my salary right here, side by side, and then I'm going to make sure that the system information header is also visible. I'm going to simply go ahead and save. Now, using my app launcher, I'm going to look for my object called jobs, and there it is. And I'm going to go ahead and start creating some jobs. So the first job that I'm going to create is simply going to be called Salesforce Administrator. So let's take a look here. So there we go. We got Salesforce Administrator, and then we can give it a salary range. So I'm going to say the salary range is about 80,000 to 100,000. Now, as you can see, I'm not entering any commas or $sign. However, when I do tap away from it, it automatically populates and it gives us that 2 decimal places, as you can see right here. So I'm going to simply go ahead and click save. Once I've done that, here's my first job that is created. And I'm just going to go ahead and close this tab. If you remembered, when we're creating the custom object, we did click on allow activities. So the activity tabs is also visible right here. And then our related tab shows the notes and attachments. And that's it. You now just create a custom object as well as custom fields.